Well, welcome to People Who Make Things. I just forgot that we have a working title now. I'm Christine Lee, and today we're chatting with someone who really understands how technology connects with people. He spent about 15 years in the IT space, and for the last 6 years, he's been a key player at Inductive Automation in technical sales. And now, as a sales engineering technical solutions program manager. Repeat that 3 times. Let's give a warm welcome to Robert Graves.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for agreeing to do this with me. I know we've spent a little bit of time as I transitioned into sales engineering and getting trained by you. I was like, oh, Robert has a really, really interesting background that might not be like quite linear. So I just wanted to have a conversation with you. So my first question to you today is, what is your background and how did you get here?
Oh, how did I get here? Yeah. Wasn't a straight path. A few deviations along the way. I first went off to college. I decided I wanted to study electrical engineering. So I spent about 2 years getting super frustrated with some of the math and physics. And it's like, I got to get out of college. I want to go get to work and start making money, right? If that's what everybody wants to do after going to college. And so I jumped off of electrical engineering and decided to go study history because it was the fastest path out. So I did that, got a degree in history. But then along the way, I met a guy who had a computer consulting business down in Southern California. So when I was down there, I started pulling network cable and setting up workstations and laptops and servers and all kinds of stuff. And so that kind of got me introduced to IT. So I did that for a little while. So I kind of bounced around doing all kinds of IT work for different companies down in Southern California. Went to work for a school for a while. So I was an IT manager down there and started building out websites for them. And then wife and I, we ended up moving up to Northern California, up to Sacramento. Worked in retail for a bit as an IT manager, making sure their ERP system and e-commerce site was up and running. What else did I do along the way? And then some more got picked up by an ethanol company. They were building ethanol plants at the time and needed a network administrator. And then went from being a network administrator to a systems administrator to an IT manager again. And then ultimately was an IT director when I left there. So that was my IT story.
But wait, after that, how'd you get here?
Oh, how did I get here part? So the company, the ethanol company, ended up going through a merger, and they had 2 IT directors. I ended up leaving the company and went back to school. And that electrical engineering degree that I started the story with ended up going back to school to finish that up at Arizona State. And then when I got done with that degree, I was out looking for a job, and I think I applied to Inductive Automation as a support rep. And but then when I was going through the interview, they said, "Well, what about technical sales?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know about sales. I've never done that before." But I rolled the dice, gave it a try, and found out I had a really good time doing it.
As I've gotten the training for the sales part of sales engineering, there is just a lot of things that go into sales that you don't really think about. Like, how do you talk to different stakeholders, different types of people? How do you navigate a conversation where you're not really digging yourself into a technical hole and getting the point across while not overwhelming people, etc. So there's a lot of, I guess, like art of communication that goes into sales. How did you learn that? Did you kind of learn it by like trial by fire?
There was definitely some trial by fire. I don't in my travels doing the IT work. I mean, sometimes we'd be working with folks that were maintenance folks out at the plant floor, but then I'd also have to give presentations to folks on the executive team or to the board on kind of the status of the systems projects we had coming up. So I don't know. I saw both sides of things. Just being able to talk to folks across a wide spectrum of technical skills and knowledge. So I don't know. I think I try to tend to listen and try to find out what's really what brought somebody to a call or what can I help them with. Really, is kind of how I approach most things. Is what can I help with? And then really, when I was wearing the IT director hat, I'd get calls from all sorts of different vendors. So you kind of I guess I learned kind of what worked and what didn't, and and just try to take kind of a more consultative and educational approach, I guess, and kind of how you approach conversations with people and kind of go from there.
One of the biggest insights that I've learned from you during our trainings is, yeah, how to navigate a conversation with someone that might not be as technical as you, how to give them what they want to hear without overwhelming them too much or just losing their focus, and also just not opening too many cans of worms, where it's like you don't want to get yourself into a situation where it's like, well, I don't want to open that can of worm, but here we are. So, yeah, a very enlightening experience, learning to become a sales engineer because it's not necessarily just sales, but it's not necessarily just technical expertise. So it's been a great time so far. But you're also not relatively new, but relatively new. I will put it as relatively new to the sales engineering division. It's been about a year, a little over a year for
A little
you.
over a year, yeah. I think I
Yeah,
left,
yay!
moved over May last year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so how is it? How is the best department in the company? You can cut this out, Joanna.
Yeah, sales engineering is pretty darn awesome. It's a different experience. Like going from sales, I mean, you've got customers and new leads coming in and quotes and orders to follow up with and things like that. It's a little bit different. I've shifted more to kind of more. I still do the training side of things that I was doing when I was a technical sales manager on the sales side. So as new reps are coming on board, getting them up to speed with the technical side and things to know with Ignition, helping them with their demos and customer conversations and just questions that come up. But then I've kind of shifted a little bit and gone back a little bit more towards some of the project management stuff because kind of as a program manager, there's all sorts of different projects and things that need help. So it's not as much customer facing these days, but kind of more behind the scenes.
What is the biggest hurdle that you've had to over, overcome, pivoting from pure technical standpoint and to sales?
Yeah, I mean, with Ignition, there's so much to learn. But then just beyond the product, you've got customers in different industries in different parts of the world. Like I'd worked in retail, I'd worked with ethanol plants. So I'd done e-commerce type stuff, database things, but water, wastewater, some of the different oil and gas industries, I just didn't have a lot of experience there. So but you find similarities between the different industries that they're trying to overcome. They have similar pain points, and so the cool thing with Ignition is oftentimes we can say yes to can we help them with a certain problem or something that's keeping them up at night. So definitely getting up to speed. It took a little while to learn all the different industries and some of the different things that different folks in different parts of the world, kind of how they operate and things. That took me a little bit, and still learning. That's the big thing too, is you can't stop. There's new stuff changing every day, so keeping up to speed with all that stuff is can be a challenge. But I don't know, it's a good day if you learn something new, right? So
Yeah, if you ever get to a point where it's like, I didn't learn anything new today and I know everything in life.
nope, yep,
No.
you did something wrong.
But have you ever heard of Ignition before coming to inductive automation, or was this just a complete new product, new area, SCADA, all of that for you?
Yeah, so I think I met Carl back when I was an IT director, maybe an IT manager, maybe 10 years or so before I started in inductive automation. And then would actually, at the time we were looking for a historian type solution, a way to monitor the ethanol plants that we had. And so inductive automation came out and talked to us about the Ignition product. But I wasn't able to put it in at the plants I had, which was kind of a bummer. So I guess I ended up coming to work for him here.
So over 20 years of experience in the workforce, what is the biggest lesson you've learned in your career? It's a little deep. If you need some time to think about that, that's fine.
Yeah, to learn something new every day. That's a pretty powerful one. Listen and ask questions, I think, is a good one. Everybody's got ideas and new things, and sometimes if you walk in with the solution already in hand, sometimes you miss out on some things. So listen and ask questions first, and then chime in once you give folks a chance to talk and share some things. That usually helps. Um, and then just the attention to detail. Just from the sales side, is you got to pay attention to that. What modules do they need? How many licenses? What, like, payment terms? All kinds of little details that sometimes get lost. So just find a way to master and keep track of all those little things.
If you had to pick three things that you had to be like, these three things are what makes ignition ignition.
It's definitely a tool, but it's more of a toolbox. There's all kinds of different things that can be added to it to do visualizations, monitor, controlling, alarming, historizing. It's like, what do you need it to do? There's so many things. Being like, a customer will call in with a specific question, or there's something that's keeping them up, but then a little bit of education, we can tell them, show them, hey, did you also know it can do this too? And oh man, it can do that. So just being able to quickly solve whatever's keeping them up at night, and then just being able to expand and do more with the product is pretty phenomenal. Price can't be beat either. But that's a good price for for unlimited licensing and tags and screens and everything else. Yeah, I mean, bringing everything into one spot is pretty powerful too. I think I might have gone into four, but I'll stop there.
Manufacturing is an exciting industry to work in.
Yeah.
I think more people should work in manufacturing. It's not. I'm not joking when I say it's a really exciting place to work or industry to work.
Agreed.
When you were going to school, what were you thinking about in terms of your future career? Would you have guessed that you'd be a sales engineering technical solutions program manager?
Yeah, I did not have that on my bingo card.
Who came up with that title?
I don't know.
Who's to blame?
I mean, I'd always been tinkering in the garage when I was in high school and building models and rockets and remote control cars and anything computer related. I was all over that when I was much younger. Really didn't get the internet at my house, I think, until my senior year in high school. So that was what, 96, 97, somewhere in there. So yeah, getting old. I probably should have done more research and figured out what was out there. I definitely didn't know about industrial engineering or anything like that. Like I knew about plants and things like that, but I didn't know enough back then. So it definitely took me a while to find the right spot. But yeah, I knew when I went off to college, I wanted to do something with computers, and yeah, so I think that's why I settled on electrical engineering. And but then yeah, the math and all the physics stuff, just leading up to getting able to take your first electrical engineering class was quite a bit. I think I spent 2 years just taking prereqs and just got frustrated. It's like, I need to get out of here.
What made you think like, yes, history?
I don't know. It was the fastest path out. I think I'd done pretty well in a few history courses that I had to take for the humanities requirement or something. And there's actually a history and administrative studies, so there's a little bit of business in there. I think I took a couple accounting classes and a database management class. And
Oh, I have a question for you. Since you've been attending ICC for the past 6 years, is there an ICC session or something revealed at ICC that you remember that's made a mark?
last year's session where we had the robotic dogs, and I think Travis showed off the Apple Vision goggle things, that was kind of cool just to see that integration and see those robotic dogs controlled by ignition was pretty sweet. That was like, holy cow, that's awesome. Yeah, so that one was pretty cool. I don't know, the build-a-thons are always just fascinating to see what sales engineering and the app engineers come up with for that one. Those have been pretty cool to watch.
The robot dog. I'm glad that you got to sneak into the session. I tried, but couldn't. I'm glad that you got to do that. But the robot dog, I believe, was Gray Solutions.
Yep.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Gray Solutions, and that was the integrator that I was with.
Oh, very cool.
That's also one of my favorite things about ICC is I get to see people that I used to work with or old coworkers.
Yeah.
We recently had our 500th exchange resource come out. Why am I bleeding? Come out and sorry, my toe is bleeding. And there was a social media post, and that was really exciting because as an application engineer, one of my roles was to review some of those exchange resources that would come in, and it would always amaze me to see like the creativity that people have, and just how much love that they have for Ignition, and also the greater community that they're just uploading this for free.
Yep. It's like, hey, I solved this problem, and yeah, here's a way to that you can do it, and then somebody's able to download that and make some adjustments to it and improve upon it, tweak it a little bit. Yeah, definitely a cool resource that we've got there for folks to take advantage of.
What's your favorite part about Ignition that's not a part of the product? If that question made sense. Wow, the words just came out of my mouth. I don't know if it makes sense.
The integrator program that we have here is was pretty fascinating. That was a new take, something I hadn't really thought of because I came from more of the end user side of things. But the systems integrators that I mean that was where our founder got his start. Right, Steve Heckman was a systems integrator for years. But the way that we take care of our integration community, offering them free support if they're working on a project with a customer and they hit a roadblock, they're able to call in and get assistance. We're not competing with those customers for or those integrators for customer projects. We don't do the implementation, the design services. We leave that to the experts, the boots on the ground there. So that's probably one of my favorite things that it's like, man, those guys are doing it right there.
I think I'm not the most like technical person, but when it comes to talking to people face to face, like on demand, live,
Yeah.
but because I'm the type of person that needs to really kind of ruminate a little bit, and really think things through definitely when it comes to technical details.
But I mean, you're not alone there. I mean, there's times when like a customer would ask a question, I'm like, I have no idea. You 2 points to you. You just stumped me.
Sometimes we're so ingrained in the details and we're bogged down by all the technical information that we have and we have to store in our brain, that it might be hard to go back to the basics truly, where you're talking to a customer that Ignition is new to them. How do you quickly but efficiently introduce them to the product, but also to our identity?
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of times on those customer demos or somebody's calling in, it's we our marketing team does a great job on our website, right? So can we pull up resources there that we can quickly fill in the details, pausing and saying, "Hey, have you heard the story before? Do you know where do we need to go next?" We've got some pretty concise images or pages on this website that we can pull up. Talk about like our 9 differentiating factors, what makes Ignition different and unique, our software stack. Do we need to go into all the detail of all the modules, or hey, can we focus in on just an abridged version? And just kind of knowing who you're talking to is good. Are these a systems integrator who's actually going to be going out and doing the implementation, or are they someone who's making a decision and deciding, hey, this is the technology, the software that we're going to be standardizing our organization on? So just some of that discovery, just knowing who's on the other end of the phone and how can I help, and again taking that kind of educational consultative approach.
I like that attitude of coming into a call or talking to someone in the mindset of how can I help? How can I serve you? How can I make your life better? Versus like I'm a subject matter expert. What do you need?
Yeah, a couple probing questions, and then if there's something interesting that you haven't heard or doesn't make sense, like don't be afraid to pull. I heard pull the thread. Somebody told me that once, and see where that thread leads. There's usually more behind it, right?
Actually, oh my gosh, completely forgot the PLC Go thing. That was so smart, and that was so fun.
Well, thank you.
We were talking about it after the fact, and I'm a big Pokemon person, so it was like PLC Go, so funny. And then after the it wasn't a training. After the team building exercise, we were like, that was so smart.
I was so
We
nervous about putting that thing together.
we
Just to be
pulled
honest.
we pulled our brains together, all the brain cells, our like it was great. And now we have a dedicated not why do I keep touching my hair? Now we have a dedicated knowledge space of this is what it should look like when you're connecting to a certain PLC, certain device. Here are some tips and tricks. Here are some warnings that, or just I like if you're having trouble or a roadblock that you might run into. This is what it blah blah blah. So I thought it was awesome because I've had experience a lot of experience connecting to like Rockwell products, but not much with like for example Modbus or Siemens. So
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, good. I'm glad you like that one.
I hope
I was
you.
super nervous on putting that whole together. Like, how is everybody going to think this is going to go? And but I'm glad you liked it. So that's good.
Yeah,
We'll see what I can come up
I
with
think
next
I'm
time. No
not
pressure.
alone in that opinion. Wow, words are hard. But yeah, it was super knowledgeable. But anyway, that all to say, you've been great. Happy to have you at sales engineering. Keep
Cool. Well, thank you.
going.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it. So,
Absolutely. But thank you for joining me here today. Sorry
all
it's
right.
been chaotic. It's not going to improve. Sorry. This is just how it's gonna be, I guess.